Hello everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been about a year since I've posted, so I wanted to share what's been going on and give a little bit of a life update, as well as an update on where I stand with egg retrievals. I had one last egg retrieval number 3. So first, a life update, a brief one. May of 2022, last year, I graduated from Hollins University with a major in biology and a minor in chemistry from the pre-med program. I also graduated having received departmental honors in biology for my senior thesis research project. I'm just glad that I'm done with my undergraduate degree and that I am on to the next step, which hopefully for me is medical school. I competed in Miss Virginia last year and I was second runner-up, which was absolutely amazing. I was really happy with that outcome. I also won overall interview, which meant a huge deal to me because I used to hate interview when I was a teen. So I'm actually competing again in Miss Virginia, and I'll explain that in a second as to why I'm competing again, but I'll get back to the MCAT. So I took the MCAT, Medical College Admission Test, in September of last year. Didn't do as well as I needed to be able to get into some of the schools that were on my list. So since I took the test at the very end of the testing season after Miss Virginia, that pushed me to take a second gap year when I didn't do well because I didn't have time to take it again. So this is why I just took the MCAT again, waiting to get back my score, and I'm hoping to matriculate into medical school fall of 2024. So having this extra year kind of gave me the opportunity to be able to compete in Miss Virginia again, which is amazing, and I really hope to get some scholarship money for medical school. I used my Miss Virginia scholarship money from being second runner-up to take an MCAT prep course. Also, in the past year, I started working for a hand and upper extremity surgeon at the Institute for Orthopedics and Neurosciences. Now we'll shift to why you're probably here to hear about egg retrieval number 3. And I did a total of 64 injections. That's just for one egg retrieval. Most of them, well, all but one, were in the lower stomach, into the subcutaneous tissue, the fatty tissue right below the skin that I've talked about in my injection videos. And then that one was the same kind of injection like I did for egg retrieval number 2, and that was the intramuscular injection that went right in the top of your buttock. My buttock, not yours. And let's talk about my medication for this cycle. I did 25 units of Lupron in the morning and at night, ideally exactly 12 hours apart. And then at night I would also do Gonal F, 450 units. And then I would do Menopur, 2 vials, which each vial is 75 units, so a total of 150 units per night. Something that I have struggled with since I started having to undergo this process and have egg retrievals is the bloating. And that's something that maybe other people might not want to talk about, but it's true. It's something that needs to be talked about because you kind of feel uncomfortable in your body anyway, having to undergo egg retrievals. But then those injections, for me, this doesn't happen for everybody. For me, they cause me to put on a little bit of weight, particularly in that lower abdominal region. So I joined a Fit Body boot camp, and I have been trying to lose that weight for the past few months. And but that's just something that I've struggled with, and it's kind of frustrating because it's that lower abdominal fat that is hard to get to go away. Other parts of the body, sure, it goes away, but that's a really stubborn area. So but I have been working on that. For this egg retrieval, I stimulated for 15 or 16 days. That's a really long time. Before, I just stimulated for 9 to 11 days, but this time, since my doctor knew that it was going to be my final egg retrieval, she really wanted to give me the best results possible, and so I was giving myself injections for 15 or 16 days, and then I gave myself the trigger injection on day 17. February 20th was when I had my egg retrieval. This egg retrieval, like the last one, was at Shady Grove Fertility in Richmond. 12 eggs were retrieved, which was fabulous, but I was still waiting to hear because not all of those 12 that are retrieved were going to be mature enough to freeze. Some of them were going to be too small. We only care about the ones that are mature enough to freeze because those are the ones that can thaw and provide a child. So later that day, I got a phone call and 9 eggs were mature enough to freeze. Out of 12, that's pretty great. So I was thrilled with those results. That outcome was extraordinary. And so since I had 9 frozen eggs with this cycle, I have now, amongst the 3 cycles, a total of 22 eggs in the freezer. Well, 2 freezers. Most of them are at Shady Grove. Some are at UNC Fertility. But anyway, overall, I have 22 eggs. Remember, my doctor told me that she'd like to see me get about 20 eggs to be able to get 1 healthy child statistically. So 22 is exactly where I wanted to be, and I really didn't think that I would get that many at this last egg retrieval, just because my AMH has kind of been going up and down a little bit, and my doctor told me that's exactly what happens right before it starts to shoot down and it's 0. So I wanted to make sure to get an egg retrieval in the final egg retrieval, and I'm so grateful that I was able to do so financially, because insurance doesn't cover anything. So we had to wait about a year from this last one to be able to have a 3rd egg retrieval. When I would tell people that I got 22 eggs total from the egg retrievals, they thought it was great, and they were like, gosh, why do you need 22 eggs? It only takes 1 egg to make a baby. True, but you have to remember that each time you have some kind of event in your cycle of IVF, you lose an egg. Well, you lose a couple. So, for example,
when some of my eggs are thawed to be fertilized, not all of them are going to thaw and survive. Some will die, and that's just how it is. Then after those, you've already lost some. So now we're down a little bit. And then not all of those are going to fertilize properly. And then after that, not all of them are going to grow to the roughly day 5 blastocyst, which is when the embryo is large enough to be able to take a teensy bit of tissue to genetically test it and see if it has Fragile X. So now we're down again. And then because Fragile X is at play and I have this genetic disorder, there's a 50-50 toss-up that this embryo will have Fragile X. So that gets rid of some right there.
So I will only be implanting embryos that do not have Fragile X. So hopefully I will be able to get a couple out of that 20 that do not have Fragile X, because sometimes when we implant with IVF, not all embryos, are able to attach to the uterine lining and actually grow and become a baby. So it's ideal that I'd have a couple or a few to be healthy and try IVF. I was kind of shocked to find out that I had 22 eggs, because it should have been 21, but then it was explained to me that at my last retrieval, when I was told that I only got 3 mature eggs to be frozen, oh no, you actually got 4. So I don't know where that information was lost, but it's something to do with the stage that the embryo or that the egg is in, whether it's M1 or M2. I'm not really familiar with all of that, but that's why I think it was told to me that I only had 3, but I really have 4. Not much else I know about that. It feels very strange to be able to be in a place where I can close this chapter of my life. I found out that I had Fragile X, the premutation, in January of 2021. So it's been about 2.5 years of undergoing all of these procedures. I had that first attempted egg retrieval that we had to stop the stimulation cycle because that cyst that I had in my ovary was really growing, and it reached 5 centimeters. And because it had septations in it and they thought that it was cancerous, it needed to come out before they could potentially stick a needle in it, drain the eggs out, and then if it was cancerous, I'd have cancer in my pelvis and it just would not be good. So I had to have that ovarian cystectomy. Then I was able to have 3 very spaced out, successful though, egg retrievals. And it's been quite a journey of 2.5 years. And I'm really excited for next steps in my life, as well as next steps in this journey. Although those steps will take place in, I would guess, 10-ish years from now. Where do I want to be in 10 years? Hopefully I will have completed med school and my residency, and then I'll be in fellowship for surgery, some type of surgery, and hopefully I will have met my future husband and we will be married, which is super exciting to me. I'm not even dating anybody right now, so it's crazy to think that the next video I film will probably be, somebody will be sitting right here, a man will be sitting right here, who has probably watched all my previous YouTube videos and thinks I'm a weirdo, but finds it cute. I don't know. My mom has told me that she thinks that I will probably meet my husband in medical school. Gosh, I hope that's the case. But anyway, I'm excited to be at the point in 10 years or so where I'm able to be in a place in my life, career-wise, where I'm able to implant, fertilize, and then implant eggs and try to have my healthy child. Lastly, just want to thank anybody who has supported me while I've been going through all of this. I want to thank people who have commented, and not just been silent watchers, but who have commented and interacted with me on YouTube, and commented and said, I just found out about this and it's been helpful to me to watch your videos because it shows somebody else is going through it too. That's all I ever wanted when I started this channel. I know it didn't blow up, I didn't expect it to, but I just wanted to be able to impact some people who needed to be impacted by this. I also want to encourage you, if you are in my shoes or you just were diagnosed, and tell you that it gets better and you'll have clarity. Your journey is not going to look like mine. It'll probably be very different. Maybe you'll be able to have egg retrievals, and maybe you're in a state where insurance does pay a little bit, and that's fabulous. If you are, great, take advantage of it. If not, maybe you'll have to adopt. Maybe you'll have to use an egg donor. Everybody's story is going to be different with the premutation of Fragile X. But I hope that if you truly want a child, a healthy child, that those options will be presented to you, and that you'll be given clarity in which to choose, because human life is precious, and I think that anybody who struggles to create it, they've got to be pretty strong. So since you won't hear from me on YouTube probably for several years, I encourage you to follow me on my social media, whether it is Isabella Jessie on Instagram, or the Isabella Fragile X Instagram, or my Facebook, or my LinkedIn. I have Snapchat too, but that's kind of limited to close friends. But I encourage you to follow me, because you'll get to see what else is going on in my life, and hopefully you'll be able to see that I have not let Fragile X impact me significantly, and that I'm still able to do all of the things that I really want to do. So that's all I have. See you in 2034.